Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, you've been diving into Madoka Magica Magia Exedra, grabbing those free gem pulls, maybe even considering throwing in a bit of real money. Don't worry, we've all been there. But with so many magical girls in Kyoku to choose from, it gets kinda overwhelming, right? Like, which characters are actually worth pulling for? Are you investing in someone who's going to carry you through the toughest fights, or are you just getting a shiny new benchwarmer? Well, that's exactly what we're breaking down today. After looking at their level up attack scaling, how well they perform in combat depending on their roles, and how their different forms shake things up, we've put together a fresh tier list to help you spend your pulls wisely. Because let's be real, not all magical girls are created equal. Some are just built different. Stick around and let's get into who's hot, who's not, and who'll help you crush your next boss fight. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking characters in Madoka Magica Magia Exedra. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching! The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Hana Sarasa, Karin Misono, and Rika Ayano. Oh boy, here we are, deep in the trenches of the could-have-been great squad. Yep, it's time to talk about the C-tier characters in Madoka Magica Magia Exedra. These girls aren't terrible per se, but let's just say they won't be carrying your team to glory anytime soon. Grab your grief seeds and lower your expectations, because things are about to get mildly effective. Let's kick things off with Hana Sarasa. Now, I really wanted to like her. She's got the vibe, the attitude, but when it comes to actual combat utility, it's kind of a letdown. Her skills mostly center around increasing the chance to inflict status ailments, and even then, that's something you only start seeing at her later skill progression levels. That means early on, she's just kind of there. Unless you're building an ailment-heavy team comp, she's probably better off cheering from the sidelines. Next up is Karin Misono. Karin. She comes in swinging with some flame-type damage, but it's unfortunately on the lighter side. Think of it more as a warm hug than a scorching blaze. Most of what she brings to the table are speed boosts, and while moving faster sounds cool, it doesn't always translate into winning fights, especially when your damage is coming in lukewarm. Great energy, but not exactly the heavy hitter you were hoping for. And finally, we've got Rika Ayano. She's the type of teammate who shows up with snacks and moral support, and honestly, we love her for it. In battle, she occasionally boosts the action time and speed for her allies, which can be useful. Sometimes. But the keyword here is occasionally. It's not consistent enough to be strategic, and not powerful enough to change the tide of battle. She's got heart, no doubt. But in Magia Exedra, heart only gets you so far. So yeah, C-tier isn't a death sentence, but if you're aiming for top-tier magical mayhem, maybe keep these girls as backup dancers rather than headliners. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Ashley Taylor, Asuka Tatsuki, Ayame Mikuri, Hazuki Yusa, Himika Mao, Kokoro Awani, Kush Irina, Masaru Kagami, Mito Aino, Nanaka Tokiwa, Reirei Buki, and Seika Kumi. Alright, now that we've survived the meh vibes of C-tier, let's level up a bit and talk about the B-tier crew in Madoka Magica Magia Exedra. These characters are the dependable middle grounders, not exactly game changers, but definitely not just decoration either. Think of them like that solid friend who won't bail on you, but might not throw the wildest parties either. Ready? Let's dive in. First up, Ashley Taylor. She's the kind of character who loves to run her own race, boosting her speed and break bonuses mostly for herself. It's like she's shouting, "I got this!" but without lending much help to the team. Great for solo show-offs, but less so if you want some group synergy. Then there's Asuka Tatsuki, who really leans into aqua damage. With each skill upgrade, her aqua attacks get stronger, but beyond that, she's not packing much else in her utility kit. She's a one-trick pony, but hey, if that trick's your favorite, she'll do it pretty well. Ayame Mikuri is a bit more versatile. She's the speedster who also improves debuff hit rates and even chips away slightly at enemy defense. Those small bits add up to a respectable package, making her a decent pick for wearing down tougher foes over time. Moving on, Hazuki Yusa knows how to get the team moving by advancing teammate action time, which is pretty neat. She's also good at boosting her own speed, though she doesn't do much beyond that in terms of stats. Basically, she's the team's caffeine shot. Gets you going but won't carry the whole workload. Say hello to Himika Mao, who mostly buffs flame damage. She's also got some moderate defensive boosts, but those don't really kick in until you're well into her skill progression. So, she's more of a slow burner, growing sturdier and hotter as time goes on. Then there's Kokoro Awane, a solid light damage dealer. Her defense boosts don't show up until later in her skill progression, meaning she starts off a bit fragile but becomes tougher the longer she sticks around. A classic glass cannon with a slight twist. Kush Irina is interesting. Her attack power scales based on how many enemies are on the field, which means she shines in crowded battles. Mostly, she dishes out good dark damage, but beyond that, she's not offering much in terms of utility. Masaru Kagami specializes in follow-up attacks, hitting harder against enemies who have taken more than 200% break damage. She's like the perfect finisher who waits patiently until the opponent is down, then lands the knockout blow. Mito Aino packs decent break damage but doesn't bring much to the table for speed boosts or other enhancements. She's reliable when it comes to breaking shields or defenses but can feel a bit slow in the action department. Nanaka Tokiwa is all about scaling force damage and boosting critical hit rates. So, if you like to crit like there's no tomorrow, she's your girl. Not the flashiest, but effective for steady pressure. Reirei Buki brings some balance with increasing magic points recovery and moderate health points recovery. She's like a walking energy drink and first aid kit rolled into one. Great for keeping your team going longer in battles. Last but not least, Seika Kumi delivers decent aqua damage along with increasing break percentages. She's the kind of character who steadily wears down enemies and opens them up for more damage, making her a good tactical choice. So yeah, B-tier characters might not be the headliners, but they sure know how to hold their own. Whether it's speeding up your team, boosting specific damage types, or chipping away at enemy defenses, these girls bring a nice mix of utility and firepower. Not quite top-tier superstar status, but solid enough to keep your squad balanced and effective. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Riko Chiaki, Yachio Nanami, and Yuma Chitose. Alright, now we're stepping into the pretty darn good zone with the A-tier characters in Madoka Magica Magia Exedra. These ladies bring some serious punch and utility to your team. Think reliable stars who aren't quite overpowered legends, but definitely worth building around. Let's break down what makes them stand out. First, there's Riko Chiaki, who's all about turning up the heat on your offense. She boosts both attack and critical hit rate, which means more frequent and stronger hits. Plus, she doesn't stop there. She throws in moderate boosts to critical damage and speed, making her a versatile threat who can dish out damage quickly and consistently. Basically, she's the kind of character you want leading your charge when you're aiming to crush enemies fast. Next up is Yachio Nanami, your go-to aqua damage dealer. She pumps out solid water element attacks, which are great for targeting weaknesses. Her skills don't scale as aggressively as some other attackers, but she more than makes up for it by boosting critical damage rates. So while she might not have the flashiest damage spikes, she's dependable for sustained, reliable hits that keep the pressure on. Finally, Yuma Chitose brings a whole different kind of value to the table. She's the team's healer and tank rolled into one. She increases health points recovery for the whole party, which means longer survivability in those grueling battles. Plus, she takes less damage when her own health points are low, giving her some impressive staying power when things get rough. A great pick if you want to keep your squad alive and kicking longer. So yeah, A-tier characters are those solid all-around players who can really swing the momentum of a fight. They might not be the absolute MVPs, but they're definitely worth investing your time and resources into if you want a balanced and effective team in Madoka Magica Magia Exedra. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Felicia Mitsuki, Homura Akemi, Iroha Tamaki, Kirika Kure, Kyoko Sakura, Oriko Mikuni, Madoka Kaname, Momoko Togami, Ren Isuzu, Sana Futaba, Sayaka Miki, and Tsuruno Yui. Alright, buckle up because now we're talking about the absolute cream of the crop. The S-tier characters in Madoka Magica Magia Exedra. These magical girls don't just show up, they dominate. Whether it's insane damage, clutch survivability, or game-changing buffs, these ladies are the ones you want leading your charge if you're serious about winning. Let's get into what makes each of these stars shine. Starting off with Felicia Mitsuki, she's a real pest to your enemies, boosting ailment hit rates so those pesky status effects land more often. And on top of that, she decreases the damage enemies deal when they're debuffed. Imagine putting a Do Not Disturb sign on your foes while they're suffering. Yeah, that's Felicia's vibe. Next up, Homura Akemi. This dark attacker is a beast in the making. Once her skills ramp up, she dishes out follow-up attacks that can seriously wreck your enemies before they even know what hit them. Patience with Homura pays off big time. Then there's Iroha Temaki in her Lightbreaker form, packing a punch with high break damage while also cranking up critical hit rates thanks to her Strata Futuro skills. She's your go-to if you want to shatter enemy defenses and keep the crits flowing. Kirika Kure is the ultimate survivor and damage dealer combo. She takes less damage when low on health, talk about clutch, and dishes out some excellent dark damage with great speed and defensive buffs to boot. She's basically your team's last stand hero. Flame fans will love Kyoko Sakura, whose power scales depending on her starting health. Plus, she ramps up elemental damage especially when hitting enemy weaknesses. She's a fiery force to be reckoned with, pun totally intended. Oriko Mikuni is the versatile elemental queen. She boosts elemental damage across the board, shines in battles with multiple enemies by increasing damage, and even ramps up her attack in later skill levels. She's like your elemental Swiss Army knife. Madoka Kaname, in this particular light magic-focused form, specializes in breaking enemy barriers with piercing damage. If you're facing heavily shielded foes, she's the one slicing right through those break defenses like a hot knife through butter. Momoko Togame isn't messing around with her high flame damage and extra special attack damage that kicks in when multiple enemies are around. If you love wiping out groups efficiently, Momoko's got your back. Ren Isuzu uses magic to trigger follow-up attacks and stacks attack buffs at her final skill level, turning her into a relentless damage machine. Those buffs add up fast, making her a nightmare for anyone on the receiving end. On the defensive front, Sana Futaba shines as a forest defender with excellent tanking abilities. Her skills scale well, meaning the longer she's in the fight, the tougher she gets. Perfect for soaking up damage while your team dishes it out. Similarly, Sayaka Miki is your Aqua defender, reducing damage taken and boosting counterattack chances. She's that dependable wall who punishes enemies for daring to hit her. Last but definitely not least, Tsuruno Yui pumps up the entire team's speed and critical hit rates as she levels up, making her an invaluable party-wide booster. Faster attacks and more crits? Yes, please. So yeah, these S-tier magical girls don't just participate, they dominate every battle. Building your team around them means you're stacking the odds in your favor, turning each fight into a showcase of power, strategy, and a little bit of that magical sparkle. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Homura Akemi, Keide Akino, Rena Minami, Mami Tomoe, and Ultimate Madoka. Alright, we've officially entered the legendary zone with the S+ tier characters in Madoka Magica Magia Exedra. These girls don't just carry the team, they crush the competition while doing it. If you get your hands on any of these, consider your squad blessed, because their abilities can seriously turn the tide of any battle. Starting with Homura Akemi, yeah, she shows up here twice for a reason. Her special ability not only restores magic points, but also unleashes colossal dark attack damage. Basically, she's like a magical energy fountain with a punch that can leave enemies trembling. If you want to keep your mana topped up and dish out insane damage, Homura's your girl. Then there's Keide Akino, who shines brightest when the team is taking a beating. Her skills ramp up helpful stat boosts as the party's health points drop, making her an incredible clutch player who keeps your squad standing strong even in the toughest moments. She's basically your don't-give-up cheerleader with serious power behind her. Rena Minami is a multitasking nightmare for opponents. She delays enemy actions after hitting them, ramps up aqua damage, grants extra magic points, and adds solid break damage percentages. Talk about stacking the deck in your favor. With Rena, you're controlling the flow of battle and hitting hard while doing it. Forest fans, meet Mami Tomoe, a forest attacker who's all about punishing elemental weaknesses. Her final attack upgrade even makes enemies deal more damage when hitting those weaknesses, adding a cheeky twist to the fight. Plus, she has a chance to generate a shield as her last upgrade, so she's both offensive and defensive. Buffs galore as she levels make her a powerhouse through and through. Last but absolutely not least, Ultimate Madoka. This version of Madoka Kaname is the queen of light attackers, boasting the best stats among all her forms. As she levels up, she also gains healing abilities, making her not just a damage dealer, but a lifeline for your team. If you want a character who embodies both raw power and support, Ultimate Madoka is the gold standard. So yeah, S+ tier is where the magic really happens, literally. These characters aren't just strong, they're game-defining, making them the absolute best picks if you want to dominate in Madoka Magica Magia Exedra. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.